Good morning, what's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this travel vlog episode, I'm here at Euston Station, getting ready to board a train out to Bletchley, which is just north of London, about say 35 minutes on the train, and take you along to see the museum that's been set up. It's like super vibrant, super authentic and really vintage, like you're kind of stepping back in time to the 1940s. So Bletchley Park, for those of us that don't know, was actually set up in 1938 as the centre of British Codebreaking intelligence efforts in World War II. So that's where Alan Turing and the codebreakers worked with the famous Enigma machine and tried to really get a handle on what the Germans were doing, thinking, planning as a way of trying to, defeat them and eventually win the war. So it was actually transformed into the museum that it is now today, back in 1993. So it has been operating sort of for the best part of the last 30 years. I'm super excited to be able to go through all the old huts and see how they've got it set up and basically learn a lot more about it than I have just from watching a couple of historical films, because we all know that as great as films are, they're not as historically accurate or informative as we would like them to be sometimes. So I hope you guys enjoy coming along the journey with me, and hopefully you learn something really, really cool today. So we just got off the train here in Bletchley, and it's a pretty easy walk from the station to the entrance to the complex. And I mean, it is signposted. They are fairly small, so I just recommend looking up on a map beforehand, like so you know which way to go when you're coming out of the station. FYI, it's an easy turn right, stroll down the street about 200 meters, throw a left, and then you're pretty much there. I know that you could purchase tickets, I think, on the day when you rock up at Bletchley. I hate the word pre-COVID, but I'm gonna use it. But I think these days it's more wise if you try and book ahead online, which is what I plan to do, and then you book like a time slot for yourself to arrive. I think they're doing like the same as most of the other London sites. They're doing a whole restrict the amount of people that come in at different times of the day, what's the word I'm looking for? Stagger it in intervals, that's it. So yeah, definitely recommend booking online beforehand so you know you've got a ticket, because the trains, this is like a little transport in the UK rant, FYI, and maybe I'll save this for Instagram stories. The trains in the UK are notoriously expensive for the simplest of journeys. It took me 35 minutes on a nice, comfortable train to get here from London, and I think it was 30 Australian dollars one way for a 35-minute train journey. That blows my mind. I mean, Australia, in Sydney, our living expenses are high, but oh my god, at least our transport's reasonable. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to it and let's head on into Bletchley.
Have you got a booking with us?
Yes, I do. I pre-purchased online.
Put the number in. 257 and L114. I'll just confirm the name.
Alison? Okay.
Okie dokie. It's coming up now. Got the maps on the right hand side if you want to help yourself to one of those today.
Brilliant.
I see you have a guidebook, so also help yourself to the book.
Thank you very much.
Well done, it's okay.
So I've just made it through the introduction and visitor centre, which has some really cool information and some amazing artifacts as well. And I must say, they give you a pretty decent map on arrival and a trusty free, love that, audio guide. So I'm off to head around the estate and head into some of the different huts along the way, and then if I get a chance I might jump on a guided tour with one of the staff here who is really great at sharing their knowledge and giving you lots of anecdotes about people who worked here during the war. But one thing I really love is that they've really just transformed a country estate into this incredible secret headquarters of code breaking. You wouldn't expect to find it out here, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why. And I guess it also made it a little nicer for the people working here as well to have a bit more of a peaceful tranquil setting, rather than those who were, say, working in the Churchill's war rooms underground in the centre of London, right near St James. So I'm off to tackle, I think, the first hut on the route map. So I will take you along with me. The old mansion here, which was just really beautifully set up with some of the old offices in there from the 1940s. I'm on my way over to huts 3 and 6, where a lot of the actual German codes were broken. So let's go. So this is one of the most secret areas in the whole complex. Hut 3. Hut 6 is just next door. They both formed part of a production line, where one would, I think, would be breaking the codes and one would be recording and translating them. This is so cool. Like, it's actually set up just like it used to be in the 40s. I don't know why I'm whispering. I think the fact that it's just like super secret, the work that went on here is just so amazing. But I can definitely tell you that even standing here right now today, it is really cold in here. I have no idea how they managed to cope with the cold weather here in the winters back then. That's just my 2 cents worth, but let's go and explore the rest of the building.
So while I was there, I had a really amazing opportunity to head inside the office of Alan Turing, who was the British mathematician and cryptanalyst, most famously, I guess, recognised nowadays in both the Enigma and Imitation Game films. But he is very well recognised now for his monumental work when it came to cracking German codes here during World War II. So it's super cool to walk inside his footsteps, basically, inside his office, before heading out onto a guided group tour by one of the staff here at Bletchley. And it was really great to see the guide getting into the Christmas spirit, wearing these gorgeous little reindeer antlers and just providing lots of humour along the way and lots of great information, and was able to tailor it to anyone that we had on the tour group. So once he found out that I was Australian, he was able to tell me more about code-breaking efforts in Australia during the war that I was completely unaware of. So that was super cool. And I fueled up with a nice hot soup in one of the cafes on site before continuing my time through the museum towards the end of the loop that they suggest, and then decided it was time to head on back to London and get out of the cold for the day. But all in all, an amazing day trip. I highly recommend that you take if you're basing yourself in London or you are on a trip around the UK. It definitely doesn't fit into like a cheap sort of backpacker budget. I think if I add up the admission ticket and the return train and getting some lunch, it was probably around 100 Australian dollars for the day out, which is quite expensive. But if you can swing it, I definitely recommend putting it into your itinerary. Well, thanks for coming along the journey, guys. I hope you learned something really cool today. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button to follow along, and I'll see you guys in the next one.